bring the PDF down from a website each time. If it's a PDF that's not going to change, why not load it in the app to save processing power, right? And so iOS gives us ability to do that easily. And we'll do that tonight. We'll actually load a local PDF copy and an external PDF copy. In fact, until we get there for the in class, if you want to go ahead and go to week 9 in class, that's what we'll be starting at tonight. And as always, you can go ahead and fork and clone that link in week 9 lab, in class lab, to your local Mac, because you will be making a few changes on the app tonight while we're discussing the content of this week. So again, week 9 in class, go ahead and fork and clone it onto your Mac. So one of the terminologies used in managing files is what's called, objects is called contents for type. And the type we're going to use this week is PDF. What other types of documents are there that you can open up in any system today? What are some documents you can open up? What is it? Like a TXT file? Yeah, TXT file. What are some other ones you guys use on a daily basis? Word document, right? What else? Excel. Anything else? Somebody mentioned pictures earlier as a type. What is it? Yeah, PNG image file for sure. So all the image file types. So when you're opening a file, it needs to know what type it is, and you'll see that in the code tonight. And that's with the object called, or the method called contents for type. Then there's load from contents. This tells iOS where to load it from, okay? 2 ways to load it, local and external, all right? Local and external. So this next couple slides, and you've already done this already last week, but I'll just kind of recap. Anytime you add a new view or view controller or table view controller to your storyboard, you always have to add a class to that app. And this is the steps of how to do it. You create a new group, add a new file to that group. You always select what's called the Cocoa Touch class. Whatever subclass it is that view is, it's just a regular view controller. It's a UI view controller class. If it's a table viewer, it's a UI table viewer controller class. Then you save it, name it, and save it. And then bind it to that view. So tonight we're going to do in just a second, opening up a PDF with a UI web browser. And then we'll create an outlet. We'll add that UI web browser extension. We'll extend the UI web view right after the last bracket, because with iOS 7, they started allowing us, Apple did, to use extensions from other apps. Tonight we're going to use an extension from the Safari web browser app to be able to open up files. And this code here on the screen just shows how to add an extension. This one actually is adding an extension for the UI web view extension, and it's got 2 functions. It's loading a local PDF function and an external PDF function. You'll notice on the local PDF function here, it's got a path which is called nsbundle.mainbundle.path or resource, name, whatever name the file is being brought over, type is PDF. Then the next line is it converts it to a URL. The next line converts it to a request, and the next line loads it in the web browser. That's for local. The key on this one is this line right here, the NS bundle. What that means is the root of your application, it will look for that file. So you can literally add that PDF anywhere in your application on the left side of your project, and it would find it if the name was correct. On the loading external, a lot fewer lines here. All you need is the name, the string, which is a URL it brings in. It converts it on the next line to a URL. The next line scales to fit that web page to the web browser. Then the next line loads it in the web browser view. So, this slide here just shows we're going to look at calling and opening local PDFs. I suggest anytime you have local PDFs or anything local in your app, create a group for it. And we've done that so far this semester for images. Tonight we'll create a group for, you'll see a group created for files. And so create a group for PDFs, import those PDFs. Then the sub procedure to call that PDF locally, since we're using an extension, is just the word web view, which is the web view that's going to be on the app, dot load local PDF, goes from the extension we just looked at, then the name of the PDF without the .pdf extension. That's going to load it locally. The next one is showing how to call it here on number 4 from a view did load, which is where the app first hits when it runs. It's going to load the local PDF. So hopefully you've had time to fork and clone the app like I had you do. Anybody still working on that, by the way, on forking and cloning? Yes.
Yeah, when I hit it, it says GitHub.
Excuse me?
It goes to GitHub.
Yep, you've got to log into your local GitHub on the Mac to fork and clone every time. So in order to fork and clone it, you have to log into your local Mac account for GitHub, and also online as well, on the web and also on the local Mac GitHub application. Okay, remember you have 2 logins you have to do. So log into your local Mac GitHub first, and then when you do the fork and clone, it'll launch that Mac and GitHub. Give you a moment to do that. So I'm going to fire up the app while you guys are forking and cloning that to your Mac. Excuse me. And by the way, I did put a new help file on my website because one of the things on the new upgrade for iOS 9 I noticed is when you load a local PDF or local whatever, it's fine. But when you load something external from a website, iOS gives a warning that it will not load it due to security. So there's a little hack you've got to do basically on the info file that I'll go there real quick to show you what I had to do. I'll go to my website, cconquer.com. And go to courses, resources under CIS280. It's the first one here under Swift New. It says web pages won't load in simulator. The error it gives you is app transport security has blocked a clear text HTTP. All right. Well, if you click on that link, it gives you the solution to fix it, which basically is you have to add this code that I've highlighted here to the info.plist file in Xcode. Now, I've already done it for our in-class tonight, but when you do this from scratch, you're going to have to do it yourself. So this code here, this key NS app transport security, it's a new security module that iOS has added. You have to add it into the info list in order to run it an external URL in your compiler. So I will show you on Xcode here how to do that. So if you will expand the app myfileswift9 till you see the info.plist file. Info.plist file, which is right there, I'm pointing to on the overhead. So kind of expand your files on the left till you see that. It's underneath the supporting files folder, I believe. If you expand that, and I'll show you a real easy way to edit this file. In fact, the only way I suggest to edit it. Again, it's on your files and the supporting files folder. You won't see it until you expand the supporting files folder here. You will not see it to expand the supporting files folder, which is inside of the My Files Swift 9. So that's where it's at. So anyway, if you want to look on the overhead, I'll show you how to do it. You just kind of watch if you want to, because this one's already done for you.
Mine looks totally different from that. Doesn't look like that at all.
What do you mean? Your info P list doesn't look like this at all?
Information properties, no code on it. It doesn't.
Yeah, because I've already edited mine. Do you have the info.p list though?
I have two of them, actually.
Okay, you want to click on the one that's in the supporting files underneath. Let me collapse all these folders to where it should be this one right here that you've clicked on. That's the only one you want to click on.
And it looks
Do you see that one now?
the same. Looks really strange. It doesn't look like this at all.
Does it look like a GUI interface instead of text?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Because the only reason mine looks like this is because I've already had edited the file earlier tonight. So that's why. Okay, so basically if you right click on that file and go to open as source code, it's going to open it up to look like mine. Now yours might look like this. It might look like open as property list. It might look like that.
That's what it looks like.
Okay? You don't want to edit it like that. It's a lot harder to edit it like this. You can, but it's much more difficult. You always want to edit it by right-clicking on that plist file, open as source code. And you want to be real careful when you're editing this file, because if you type in one character incorrect, your app will not run. So the code that I give you on the website, that right there, starting with the key down to the DICT greater than symbol, that whole code is right here. Okay, that whole code is right there for you. And basically what that allows you to do is open up an external site. Now let me show you. I'm going to leave mine. Don't do this. So I'm going to do it on mine. I'm going to delete that. I'll delete it.
We open up that plist in Xcode, right?
Yeah. Well, you've got to open up the whole project in Xcode. And then you'll see the info.plist on the left. So go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and run the app first and show you what it looks like. And I'll have you guys run it in a second. So I'm going to do a Command R and run this app. I believe it should say iPad 2 on yours on the simulator. If you want, you can go ahead and run yours while mine is. It'll take a little bit. But mine will not load an external. You'll have two buttons, load local and load external, when the app runs successfully. Your local will work and mine will work, and my external won't work, yours will. So all it is a load local, PDF, and external. I'm going to go and click on the local PDF. and it loads that local PDF into the web viewer. I click the back button. Now I try to click on the external PDF, and it does now because I've not saved the file earlier. So let me go ahead and go back to home. Let me delete this. So I don't think I saved my changes after I made that change on the PDF. Okay, good. Now, let me recompile it. I might have to delete it from my computer, but we'll find out. Okay, good. It's not loading. If you look down here at the bottom, though, it says App Transport Security is blocked, a clear text HTTP resource, since it's insecure. Temporary exceptions can be configured via your info plist, which I've showed you how to do. Okay. Now, if I put that code back in there that I deleted, I'll go to my website, copy that code, go back to my info.plist. And you basically want to paste it above next to last DICT line. Let's save it. Recompile it. Now let's see if it loads the local or the external. There we go. Now the external shows up. So again, that's a little change since iOS 9 that you have to add in for the local or for the external. Now this only affects the simulator. If you were loading this on a real iPad or iPhone, it would not matter. It would load it anyway on that external. But to see the file in the simulator, you have to put this in the info list. You don't have to take it out of the info.plist when you put it to your actual device. But to see it run in the simulator, this has to be in there. Okay, so this app just shows you basically how to load a local and load an external PDF. Now what I want us to do is go to week 9 in class for me. And there should be a new PDF in there for you. In fact, we're going to click on it first or highlight it first to make sure it works and load it in your browser. We're going to go over this. Is actually your final apps that everybody has submitted. Week 9 in class. It's not clickable, so you'll have to highlight that link right there, starting with cconkle.com, ending with CIS280.pdf. Let's copy that and put it in a new tab in your web browser and paste it to make sure you have what I have. I see that? So let's go over these first before we actually integrate it in your app, because this might be the first time some of you have heard of what other people are doing in here. And if your list isn't on here, I didn't have it on the submission for your assignment. So make sure and submit the assignment in week, I think it was week 3 or 4 that this was to be done. So the first one is Book You for college students to be able to an app to sell, buy, and barter textbooks by Ariel Garcia. Cool app idea. Golden Chopsticks Buffet. This app allows the user to download to their smart devices, enables them to view the restaurant menu with their fingertips. All Ages by James Backstrom. Then there's a mapping app to send a text message to one of your contacts that says when you depart, how long it should be to get to your destination, and when you arrive. Target Family Businesses by Nicholas Zablasky. And then Movie File. I think that was the most recent title you gave me. Is that right? And all these titles I know are working titles, so you can change them as time goes on. Keep track of the movie inventory so she can find which books the disc have been stored in. A simple tool may save time when I watch a movie. I believe also she described in there the ability to use it for other things as well, besides movies in the future, other inventory items in the house. All Ages is by Diane Christie. And Keith, you want to help me with the name here?
I was thinking commingle.
Commingle? Okay, thank you. Ensures your airsoft or paintball team has an effective means of communication through every step of the game. Airsoft players, paintball players. Keith Hughes. Beer logger, Samuel McKenzie. You have log all your different kinds of beers you try. Take a picture of the bottle, rate it, list the country, description, what you like and dislike, alcohol percentage, etc. Be able to track and remember which beers you've tried, when you bought it, even if you liked it or didn't like it. Idea? Count your chickens, Carissa. Finance tracking app that allows you to continuously see how much money you have as you earn or spend it, like checks, PayPal transfer, etc. By comparing your bank balance, recently entered transactions, and alerting users of any changes. Targeting people who pay bills, conduct PayPal transfers, budgeting, and tracking spending. Good idea. Road Fixes by Diego, designated to allow road users to report any issues disrupting traffic. Potholes, non-working traffic lights, objects in the middle of the road, fallen trees, power lines, animals killed on the road. Target road users and city authorities. And then home. When you are home or connected to a home network, it will put your phone in a sound mode. You can unlock your phone with passcode. It'll work either in other places too. If you're at work or school and connected to the school network, the app will put your phone on silent mode as well and ask for passcode to be unlocked. Ages 12 plus. And then pallet counter. Measure how many pallets a semi-truck could load up on a trailer. For truck drivers, factory loaders, and Bartos is this one. So great ideas. That's our external PDF that we'll be testing tonight, that link. So keep that copy in memory if you haven't already copied that on the week 9 in class. Because let me.
Link workable? I mean, does that?
Do what now?
You go to it and it's not here.
Okay, just all you gotta do is go to week 9 in class and copy this whole URL. Yeah, you just must have copied something wrong. Because that's all I did.
It didn't work for me either.
It didn't work for you either. Don't know.
Yeah, push that little arrow above it and I.
No, don't click the arrow above it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I copy and pasted it into.
It's cconkle.com/CIS280 fall 2015 apps CIS280.pdf. Anybody else? Anybody else get it like I did? Okay, there's a number of you did, a number of you didn't. So those who didn't, I'm guessing just a syntax thing. Only thing I can tell you is type in cconkle.com first. Do that. Get to my main website. And then when that loads, type in CIS280 / and then fall 2015 apps CIS280.pdf. What I might do is just make that a hyperlink, I guess, since some of you are having issues with it. Give me a second, I'll make it a hyperlink. About 3/4 of you got it, and the other 1/4 didn't. So let me click on this now. All right, just refresh the page on week 9 in class, and then you should be able to click on it. Let me know if you get it now. So Christy and Sam, you let me know if you can get it now and you click on it after a refresh.
It's loading, my computer's
Working? No working? Not working?
I said it's still loading. My computer is slow.
Oh, okay. Christy, how about you?
Let's try.
Excuse me. Well, do this for me, both of you.
I'll just look at
If it's still loading, do this for me. Just right click on that link in 9 in class and copy the link location. Okay. So do that. Don't worry about loading in your web browser. Then everybody needs to go to Xcode. And we're going to be going to the viewcontroller.swit file. Dun, ba, dun, ba, dun. Sorry. And go to the views group, not the viewcontroller.swit file. Underneath the views group at the top, expand that views group and click on load external view.swift. And that long, ugly URL in the function load external PDF, replace it with the one that's in your computer's memory. Paste it in there. It has to be in between the existing quotes. There needs to be a quote on both ends. So it should be view.load external PDF, left parentheses, beginning quote, the URL, end quote, right parentheses. Okay? And then do a Command S to save it after you've done that. And then let's do a Command R to run the app. And then we'll try the load external first, since that's the one we changed. And we should get that load external PDF inside of our app now, if everything's working right. Excuse me.
So would we replace what's inside of that parentheses, right?
What now?
We replace what's inside of that parentheses, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly.
So I tried it, but I got an error.
Yeah, I got an issue. I can't open it. Yeah, no.
Okay. Let me try it again here.
It wouldn't work for me before with the changes.
Oh, I see, it's a separator.
where do I paste that?
In the load external viewer.swift. Yeah, I'll come around and look at it, see what's going on. It might be everybody said at the same time or something too. Let's do this. If you can't load the PDF, the external one, just type in there http :/google.com. Try that. Any website, doesn't matter, just so you can get to load. I don't know why it's not loading for everybody. Try my local one works, it looks like. External one is taking forever on mine too. Let me give you another external then, while that one's, since that one's not working for us. Let me give you another external here. Hang on just a second. I think everybody's hitting it at one time. It's probably just taking forever to load on the network. Because now mine's taking forever too.
I
Huh?
Just came up in PDF.
It did or didn't?
It did.
Yeah, I think it's just a network because my network, it took 4 minutes for mine to download. It's only a 2 meg file. So I would say chalk it up to RVC network. So let's just say it's working and we won't sit there and watch the page spin. Okay, so if it does work, doesn't work on yours, we know it's a network, but we've seen it work already once. So the way it works here is basically the reason the code can be so short is because we're using an extension, remember? Using an extension. But is this extension in this view? Do you see an extension in this view? Can somebody look on the code real quick? Tell me what view the extension is located on for the UI web view. So go ahead and browse around the app, go through all the views, and tell me which view you find the extension at. Remember, the extension is going to be found at the end of the right bracket, past the right bracket, where a normal right bracket is, where the UI web view extension will be. So tell me where it's at if you find it. And the UI web view extension, remember, gives us all of the, we can put it anywhere in the app, and it can be used from any other view in the app. Anybody find it yet? All you have to look is all the .swift files until you find at the bottom of one of those Swift files an extension for UI web view. What's the name of it? What's the name of it again? PDF. Well, you've got appdelegate.swift. You've got viewcontroller.swift. What other Swift files we have here? MyFile Swift 9 test.swift. Local external PDF and local PDF viewer. Now, if you look at the local PDF viewer, the very bottom, you see here where it says extension. This extension can be used in any view within the app. If we had 20 other views that loaded external and local PDFs, we could call this extension. The nice thing about it is you don't have to create functions in each one of the views. You create the functions in one extension and then call it in other extensions. Make sense? So let's look at it real quick. And I am in, by the way, the local PDF view controller. In the I'm extending the UI view web module. I'm extending that. What that means is it's telling the Swift compiler everything the UI web view has to do, I can now use, basically. Loading a web page, uploading a website, playing a movie from a website, playing an MP3 from a website, loading a PDF from a website. The two functions I'm using here, I've created two functions, one called load local PDF, name string. What that means is it's looking for a variable that's a string. The next one is load external PDF. Again, it's looking for a variable that's a string. On the load local PDF, the first line is looking at the root of the app. This right here, this ns bundle.main bundle path or resource. What that means is anything inside of, underneath the root where my mouse is, anything that you put a file in that project will be searched for in this NS main bundle. So even though we put testers.pdf in that PDF group, that's just for aesthetic's sake as a developer, so I can manage my PDFs visually. But the app doesn't look at groups. The app just looks at every single file in the root of my folder, in the root of my project. Make sense? And so anything that's in there that has the local name, in this case it's testers, it looks for the name testers.pdf of type, we went over in our notes tonight, it's looking for the type PDF called testers, which I have in the group called PDF. The next line converts it to a URL, and it uses what's called a file URL with path. What that means is it gives a URL directly to the literal path of that file. Well, let me just show you something that will help when you're developing, which is called debugging your app and letting it see what's happening when it's happening. So what I'm going to show you here is real quick. If you just kind of take your mouse with me and be on the local PDF view controller.swift, and I want us to click on the, let's click on the line right here where my mouse is, and when you click on it, a little blue arrow will show up. Everybody see that on yours? If you click on that line, what that's going to do is going to create a stopping point for the app when we run it. If you don't see it, just click on this little gray area to the left of let PDF request line. And to get rid of this, by the way, after we're done, we just right click on it or control click on it and delete that breakpoint. But to bring a breakpoint in, that's what we want to do. And a lot of times as a developer, I'll do that to see what the app's doing. So, everybody got that? You got the breakpoint down? Now I'm going to do a Command R. You can do it with me. Do a Command R. And we're going to click on the local PDF one because that's the one we put the breakpoint on. And it should put a breakpoint, boom, right there, and it should spin. Okay? But take and hover your mouse over the word URL right above. You might have to click on it once. Click away and come back. Kind of click away and come back and hover over it so you see what I see. What this does is it's showing you what it found for the path, the literal path for that PDF file called testers. Notice it starts with my user directory on the Mac, my username, library, developer, course simulator, devices, and that ugly name. But what's cool about it is you can't see everything, but if you click on the little eye, it looks like a little eye right here. If I click on that eye, it's going to bring it up into a previewer window, which is kind of cool. It actually previews that PDF in total in a little window. If I click on the little eye icon here, it looks like an italicized I. It'll give me the entire string to where I can copy it easier. So this I can actually, this is a direct path of that testers.pdf on my Mac environment. Okay? Yes?
How did you get that eye?
This one right here, if you hover over the word PDF or URL, I'm sorry, hover over the word URL. If it doesn't do the first time, go away and come back, then it should come back. There's two icons. This one right here will give you a preview of the PDF. This one right here will give you a full string of that file path. Make sense? Yes. I'll come around. Nope, hover over URL. No URL. You're not on URL. Like that one right there. Nope, above that. Yep. You can go away and come back. You can click on it once. Click on the word URL. Go away and come back. Is the app still running? Let me see. really recompile it, because I think it's already went off that line. So if you guys don't see it, just recompile it. I'll come around and show you where it's at.
So now,
You have to click local PDF first. You have to click local PDF first. It won't work if you don't click local PDF. Wait for it to stop. Okay, see it's spinning? Now hover over the word URL after the word let. There it is.
click this arrow.
It's already showing up. It's right there.
I can't get that.
I see.
Okay.
It keeps going like this.
Okay, it's probably because you restarted that disk boot earlier. Let me come in there and look at it. We reformatted your disk on the simulator. Let's see. It doesn't have that simulator on your computer, so you need to switch it to another simulator. Let's go to like iPad Air. iPad 2 is fine. The other simulator's running. I don't think you have that simulator on your Mac for some reason. Anytime that happens, just change simulators. Yeah, if it says no, like it doesn't exist or whatever, just change simulators. It's gonna take a little bit. Let's see. Which ones you have loaded on the machine? Simulators down there. Four simulators. Let's change it to 9. Let's change that to 2. Get those simulators running. You just have 3 to have those little simulators.
It should like automatically take you back to yeah, it took me 2 tries. No.
So,
I'm gonna go ahead and please rebuild it. Do you have any breaker point that PDF request?
Yeah, let PDF request equals.
Weird.
Anybody else need help? I'm getting that link to show up. You good? Yours is show up okay? Okay. it looks like the simulator was running, but the app wasn't. The simulator was running by itself, and the compiler wasn't being at all. Because you can like run something in the simulator, kill it next code to still run the simulator. Yeah, that's probably what's happening. So yeah, it's restarting. So we'll take a look at it. All right, there you go, good. And same yours show up. Highlight on it, cool. Yes. Okay, show me what you did. Did you click on the local PDF button? You have to click on that to hit that line. You have to hit local PDF button. That's on your GUI interface for the simulator. If you don't click on that, it's not going to hit the line. Oh, yep, just now hitting it. Hover over URL. Go away and come back. And it'll take a second. Boom. There it is. Yep. So basically the reason I showed you that is so you can kind of see what's happening as the compiler's hitting different lines in your code. It helps you also understand where it's getting that file exactly, and helps you troubleshoot sometimes. Let's say, like for instance, let's say we rename something wrong. Like say I, for whatever reason, renamed this one to, I left the S off. Well, it would say not found. And if I went down here, it would say, I would notice when I clicked on this icon here that I forgot the S on the end of it. The other thing you can do is, let me show you, if I purposely, just for fun here, got rid of the S on testers and ran the app, and let's see what happens here when I click the load local. It says here, it failed by unwrapping because of optional values. Well, the optional values, the only optional values in this string are the is the name testers, which is this one right here, the tester string, and it didn't find it, and so the optional value is what would cause that to be the fact that I forgot to name it all the way with the S on it. So put that back. Excuse me. There we go. Now everything's loading. The other things too is you'll notice it gives a lot of information here at the top of things that have already happened in the compiler. Like there's my name that was brought over, testers. This was the web being loaded, UI web view being loaded. This is the path to the core simulator, the URL, direct URL to the core simulator, and even the PDF request line. Now to get rid of this, I can control click and delete the breakpoint. To go from breakpoint to breakpoint, let me just show you this. If I wanted to go down line by line and say start with this term path line here. If you're on a MacBook, this is different than on the desktop, by the way, keyboard command. On MacBook, it's going to be the FN key F6. On regular keyboards, large keyboards, it's just the F6 key. And basically what it is, the F6 key is a step over command. Notice I'm right now on the let terms path line. But if you look on the overhead, if I hit the F6 key, it's going to keep going down. See that one? Now it's on the let URL line. Now it's on the let PDF request line. It's literally going step by step as the app's compiling it. Okay? That helps also when you're now working on your final apps. You kind of want to see what your code's doing as it's doing it, especially if something's not showing up correctly like you think it should, you can put a breakpoint on that function and then just go line by line to figure out what's going on with your code. Make sense? So again, breakpoints are going to help you to troubleshoot things. It's not going to help you if something errors out. It's going to help you troubleshoot logic in your code, all right, to figure out what's going on. So to get rid of this, how do I do it again? How do I get rid of this breakpoint? Control click, and then I can delete that breakpoint. My voice is about gone, I apologize. If you didn't already notice that. But I wanted to go ahead and go to week 9 in class. All you need to do is for tonight's in class is save what you've finished working on, meaning you put that new URL I had you put in, even though it's not going to load because of the network, leave it in there anyway. Save your work. Go ahead and comment out and make a commit in GitHub with your initials and submit your URL below. There is a couple other questions I have you answer, or one question. What other uses could you use opening files for besides just viewing a PDF like we did tonight? What other types of files? And we went over that in class already. Directions for an app, maybe some text or reference type stuff for an app, maybe books or textbooks or references within an app, a whole bunch of different uses that open files can be used for. Open files can also be used for opening other types of files too, like movie files, which we'll do later on. I think we do movie files next week in week 10. And by the way, be thinking of for next week in week 10, I'm going to have you download three movies? Yeah, 3 movie clips of your choice. So 3 of your favorite movie trailers you'll be downloading next week for your take home. And so, but you'll be opening movies locally in your app next week. I'll show you how to do that. So that's the in class. Finish that up, commit it. And before my voice goes, let's talk about your assignment for this week. And then I'm going to have those who, the 5 people that are going to get iPads tonight, I'll kind of one by one have you guys come up. Well, I'll have you come up as a group and show you how to use them to save my voice. I do have with all of them your power cords and everything, and they're all charged up. And I did want to show you one app I've been working on. And Christy, I think, helped me test this already. I think she had it working on her app. You at least got it loaded, right?
Yeah, my first name's Diane.
I'm sorry, I always call you Christy. Christy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I always do. I apologize for that. Hope you don't get offended by that. But anyway, I have an app where we created for the end of the year for Hour of Code on December 12th. I'll try to show you guys that real quick. But for your take home, you're going to build upon what we did tonight. Create a single view app called My Files. This time though, you're going to actually add 3 local PDF file buttons, 3 external PDF file buttons. So the idea is to have a main screen with 3 to 6 buttons on there. I put up here 6 buttons, 6 view controllers. Each view controller will have its own Swift class. You'll drag the buttons to the view controller. You'll use a modal view. And so basically you're going to take what was done in class and you'll add other views, and you'll have to create a class for those views and load in your PDFs both locally and externally. Now all the PDFs could be external, or they all could be local, or they could be a mixture, however you want to do it. But there has to be at least 6 buttons, so 6 PDFs will be loaded, whether it be local or external. And just remember what we went over last week and this week. Anytime you add a view to your storyboard, you have to also add a what after that. After you add a view, the object view controller, what do you have to add to bind to that? A class, right? And the steps are in the steps you did last week. The steps are also in our notes tonight that we went over on adding a class. In fact, it might be helpful, maybe, I'm guessing. If you still have Xcode open, that's great. If you don't, that's great. I'll show you real quick in a minute here, show you how to do that to help you out. So if you just kind of want to watch, that might be helpful. So I'm going to quickly show you how to add a new view to this app here, because you're going to basically be having, if you look on the overhead, this one, notice, only has 2 buttons. You're going to have 4 more buttons on here. Okay, this one has a local and external. You'll have 4 other buttons, basically. You can call them whatever you want to, and they're going to load PDFs, either local or external. It's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and create another one here, just to show you how easy it is. I'm going to duplicate this external PDF button.
Control.
Command D. And you can just watch if you want to save time, because I'm not going to be able to kind of like repeat it probably with my voice. So I'm going to go ahead and add a view right here, because let me go down to where it's at right now. We've got 2 views only right now, right? One for my local, one for my external. I'm going to add another view here. I'm going to do a modal from that new button to the new view. I have to add a new class and code to load the PDF. So here's my view controller. I'm going to drag to my storyboard. And the way I always do it is, anytime I add a new view controller to my storyboard, I immediately add the class. Otherwise, I'll forget. If you're like me, you'll forget. So I'm going to go up here and go to my views group. And this is being recorded, by the way, so you can just kind of watch. I'm going to right click and add a new file. Cocoa Touch class. Click next. Make sure the subclass is correct, which it is. It's a UI view controller. I'm just going to call this one, to be easy, third view controller. The language should be Swift. Everything else you don't have to change. Click next. Click create. There's a new class. Now I'm going to go back to my storyboard. Click on that new view. Select it. Come over here to my identity inspector. Select that new class, which was third view controller. And to save time, I'm going to make this the local PDF. So in the local PDF, I will need to have a function, I know, from here. In fact, the only one I'll need is this load local function in here. I'm also going to have to put in a web view in there, and then let me do that. So let me scroll down and find my web view. And let me add the outlet for that. Okay, I have my outlet. I believe I also need to add a, looks like a navigation bar and a bar back button. a segue for that. And now action for this button. And I'll look at my code here for my dismiss for the back on one of my other ones. So, and then I think I've got to put, and the view did load local PDF, so it'll run. So I've got my web view outlet, I've got my BTM back. I'm loading the local PDF when the view did load runs. I've got my function to load the testers.pdf. Let's make sure my web view's in there. My BTM back's in there. And we'll call this local. And I've got one last thing to do. Is I'm going to take this view and drag it up here where I can see it easier. And do a control drag, present modally. So there's my one I just added. I control dragged the button here to the new view. And now let's run it and see.
Do you have to drag the back button to something or no?
No. And I didn't do the auto size thing either, because you notice my page is off kilter here. So let me do that. And remember, you go to the new view, on any new view, editor, resolve all layout issues, reset to suggested. Since I put a new button here, I got to do the same thing here. Put a new button there. So let's resize that. I want to resolve it. And no, Diane, you don't need to put in a drag segue back, because we're doing it in the code, because this whole app is driven by a view controller, and the view controller we're using, the main view controller here is the main form, and just this one line of code on any other form will bring it back, which is a self-dismiss view controller animated, will bring you back to wherever it came from, which in this case is always going to be this one here. Good question. Okay, so I'm going to run it again. Hopefully everything will be correctly in line here. There goes my, that should say local, but it's external. There we go. And
What had it resize the PDF was where you did the suggested constraints thing, that's what fixed it?
what was it again? I'm sorry.
What had it like
Oh,
resized?
what made me mess up?
Yeah.
Well, without doing what I just did, the app will, by default, the way Xcode works on storyboards is, it's by default going to give it the iPhone dimensions. And so unless you tell it to adjust automatically here with suggested constraints, it's always going to by default give it like the iPhone dimensions or something. So if that makes sense. And so, but now that we've done that, and I did fix the button now to say load local, I got a third one. So basically you guys are going to be creating, you got two now, I just showed you how to do the third one. You're going to do 4, 5, and 6, and name them something better than that. Load local, external PDF. Actually make the names make sense to what you're loading. It could be anything you want that's a PDF, doesn't matter. And it can be external, part local. I suggest doing that and mix it up. You don't have to, but you do have to have 6 buttons on the view loading PDFs, okay? Either external or local, either one.
By external, do you mean like using URL?
URL,
or
yes.
using-
That's what I mean by external. Yep. Questions on that? That's your only homework this week. And I believe, let me go back to the assignment page here. Oh, final app option. If you wanted to add this feature to your app that you're working on for your final app, meaning directions or a start of directions anyway, maybe you just have a PDF that says directions on it and that's it. Nothing in it yet, but you can at least put it in your app, and that could be one more thing you have done on your app. There you go. There's your option for your final app. And I really suggest using these final options. We're in week 9. Starting in week 12, we have week 9, 10, 11, 4 more weeks of in-class assignments and take-home. And then after that, you work on your app full time. You might as well, if you can, utilize all these assignments we're doing now in your final app. That way, at least have something you're actually getting work done on your final app. Does that make sense? And so every app could probably use a PDF directions, I'm guessing. And so one of the nice icons to use for launching a PDF button. I mean, the one we use tonight's pretty ugly, but you know the plus symbol we've used so far in some of our apps for the hitting the plus symbol to add a new record. Here's one I'll show you that you can use also for instead of adding is let's see here. That one. Not that one. I'll tell you when I find it. No, I don't like that one either. It's the exclamation point. Add, edit. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Search, refresh, stop. No, that's not it either. That one I've seen used. The up arrow. That one wouldn't be too bad. The organize icon. But then the one I'm trying to think of is the one that has a circle and the exclamation point in it. You guys have seen it before. Let's see here. Let's search. You might actually just get an icon for that. Anyway, it looks like this, and you can find icons on the web for it. We'll make one your own. It looks like an informational icon is what it is. There's a little dot here. No, it's an informational icon, basically, is what it looks like. So, because you can do that, you can basically take any button, by the way, that's a button, and find an image that you like. You can search Google for iOS 9 images or iOS 9 icons. And what you can do is once you get the icon or the image saved over here on the left side, you'll notice in the button here, one of the options is an image. I can select an image here to replace the contents of the button. So just so you know, you can do that. All right, so questions on your take home. So you have option for the 6 buttons, or I recommend strongly just go in and add a help menu or a help document in your final app. That way you're at least getting some stuff done on your final app. Okay? I want to make mention of one last thing here is the app I created for the 12th. Let me see if I can pull it up on the overhead. I believe next week, week 10, I believe we're supposed to do a milestone next week to check to see if at least started working on your app has been created in Xcode. And if nothing, just have the beginnings of it, like the name of the app, a view or two on it, and that's it. I'll come around and check that next week as you guys come into class. I believe that was milestone for week 10, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be checking that.
We're supposed to get started on our app? start by next
Yeah,
week?
yeah. Week 10 milestone, if I'm not mistaken. I'll pull it up here real quick. Excuse me. Let's go to week, I think it was week 4, and I gave you all the milestones. And it's just not really a grade I give you. I just kind of make sure you're on task here. I think it's in week 4, final app idea. Maybe I put the milestones in there. Yeah, week 10, start adding objects. Actually, week 8, creating, we were a week behind. So next week we'll do the making sure you've started creating your app in Xcode. We'll do that week 10, which will be next week. And then week 12, making sure I'll come around on week 12 to see if I actually started putting some code behind your objects. And then weeks 12 through 15, you'll have those entire weeks to work 100% on your apps. And then week 16, you'll present your app. So next week, I'll just come around to make sure you've at least started your app in Xcode. You've named it, you've named the project, you've got a view on there. And that's about it. That's all I really need. So we at least know you got started. Make sense? Okay. So let me go ahead and